All right, we're talking with Brian in Birmingham. His wife is a banker. He owes $20,000 on a $15,000 car, $8,000 on credit cards. And they make about $90,000 a year, and that's about how far we got in the discussion. Is that a fair summary of what you told me so far, sir?
I believe so. It sounds good to me. That's right.
How can I help today, then?
All right. Well, it's the main problem is I've introduced the idea of selling the car here recently, and I guess due to circumstance of me switching vehicles, as you can tell, twice in the past couple of years, it seems to be that if I want to keep my relationship with my wife on good standing and all that good stuff, she doesn't want to sell the car. She doesn't really want to see that as an option and get something cheaper. Mm-hmm. So I'm really trying to find another avenue where I can really bite some of this debt down, whether it's the equity in the car or the credit cards, just any other option besides bugging her with an idea that she's not going to be kosher with. So
I don't think this is going to work, because you two are not on the same page with your financial goals.
Correct.
And it's not about the goal of selling the car. It's she doesn't care whether she's out of debt or not, and you're fired up about getting out of debt. So you're always going to run into financial disagreements in this marriage. She's a banker. She loans money for a living. And so you're going to struggle with that. As long as she thinks keeping a $20,000 car debt around is okay, then you're all are going to struggle. If you don't think it's okay. Because if it's not this, it's going to be something else later. If she wants to go on vacation, she wants to buy something else you all can't afford, she wants to do something, the problem is not the car, the disagreement of the car. The disagreement of the car is a symptom of the fact that you all aren't on the same page about money. And so I would back up and spend a lot of time on that and then decide what to do with the car as a separate issue. But I think the two of you need to talk about where you want to be financially in 10 years and what the best route to get there is. If she thinks borrowing your way into wealth is going to get her there, all the data points say she's wrong. All the millionaires that we've studied for the last 20 years, and in this last study we've just completed a huge study of millionaires, we find that they stay out of car debt and out of credit card debt. And it's the shortest path to being a millionaire, regardless of if someone says that at the bank or not.
Right.
And so you guys have got to decide if you agree about that kind of thing. Then you say, okay, as a part of us getting out of debt in order to build wealth, is selling the car the best route? Now, I think you could probably keep the car, actually, with your income. The guidelines that we use is, can you be debt-free in 2 years, not counting your house, and keep the car? The answer to that is yes. If the two of you were on the same page, making what you make, you could pay off $14,000 a year in 2 years. Easy. Easy.
Right. That gives me some hope here.
Okay. The second thing is, is the car, or is the total of all your cars worth more than half your annual income? And the answer there is no, because I'm guessing she's not driving a $35,000 or $40,000 car that's paid for, right?
Negative. Right. You're exactly right.
Okay. And what's her car worth?
Her car is worth, she drives a 2009 Ford Explorer, and, it's not the cheapest model.
So what's it worth?
She's probably, that's a good question. I think, I haven't looked at the Kelley Blue Book value
just
on
guess.
that, so I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, 10 grand?
Let's say it's worth at least 10 grand.
So you got $25,000 worth of cars and you make 90. That's reasonable.
Okay.
If they were both paid for, and if you can pay for this one in 2 years and your credit cards, that'd be fine. But, dude, that involves the two of you sacrificing, getting on a budget together, and agreeing that this subject overall of handling money towards debt-free is the shortest path to wealth and to live your dreams. You're not in agreement about that now. That is a big issue at your house. This car is a small issue. And so you can't say, oh, I'm not going to sell the car just to make her happy, because it's not the car that's making her upset. It's the fact you all aren't on the same page. And that's what you've got to get to agreement on. For the sake of your marriage, you need to. Any of you old enough to remember when the real estate market crashed in 2008? You couldn't give a house away. House prices dropped. Some of the markets, the bubble burst. There was some dramatic bubble bursting out there. Well, I'm happy to report that almost every market has returned its value. Home prices are back to where they were and beyond. And most major cities in America today, the real estate market is white hot, like 98% of them. There's a few places that have problems that are not national economy problems. They're local economy problems. And, the micro issues within that city are screwing up the city, but that's different. Most neighborhoods in most cities right now are white hot. You put a house on the market, you get multiple bids by the weekend. Most of the time right now you've got that. And that is driving prices up, of course. Because anytime you've got, it's a simple supply-demand economics lesson from the 7th grade, if you had 7th grade econ, if there's such a thing anymore. But, when there's a limited supply and a whole bunch of people chasing that limited supply, that drives prices up. When there's an oversupply and not as many people chasing something as much as there is supply, it drives prices down. It's called a glut in the market. It's pretty simple. We know that. Scarcity drives price up, in other words. And when a market is white hot, like the residential real estate market is right now, prices are generally going up. That is creating a couple of situations in the real estate world that we're running into out here, and I'm talking to you about it. One problem is this. MarketWatch came out this week and said 1.6 million homeowners are predicted to get new home equity lines of credit in 2018. Now that people have equity, what are they going to do? Go borrow it! Well, that's just stupid. But there's 1.6 million people out there that are getting ready to do something stupid, according to this report. Don't go borrow your equity out of your house, especially on a freaking home equity loan. It's the credit card of the mortgage world. You know what a home equity loan is? It's a good chance for you to lose your home. Let me tell you why. Most of them have an annual or a biannual, every 2-year call in them, meaning the bank can just decide they want all their money, and you have to go get another loan or have the cash to pay them off right then, or they foreclose. I mean, it looks like something in an old 1930s movie or something. But everybody just bebops along and acts like it's nothing, because usually they don't do that, but they have the right in the paperwork to just decide they don't like you anymore and call the loan. The second thing is, you know what the interest rate on your home equity loan is based on? Your banker's mood. It's not tied to any index. It's not tied to any national publishing. It's somewhat controlled by competition. But, when they change, they just change it. It's completely variable, and it's variable based on, I think we can get a little more out of George this week. Let's just raise it. And they just raise them. Or they might lower them, but not very often. And so you are setting yourself up in a piece of crap loan with a call and a variable rate that is based on the banker's whim. That's just dumber than a rock. That's just dumber. You are asking for trouble. And then when things turn down, you're going to go, oh, well, I didn't think that was stupid. Because, hey, when things are going really good, stupid gets covered up. Stupid can look smart when things are good. But like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can tell who was skinny dipping. When things go down, this home equity loan is going to be, oh, I had no idea. Well, where were you in 2008? I mean, were you not born yet? Seriously. How did you have no idea? You didn't even look at it. All you cared about was, I wanted a new kitchen. Princess, come on, shut up. Stupid butt stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't borrow this equity out. You're supposed to be building wealth in the ownership of your home, not constantly borrowing it out to buy crap. And that's what your home equity. I'm going to move my credit card debt over there. I paid off my credit card debt with a home equity loan. See, that statement right there is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Here's why it's dumb. You didn't pay off your credit card debt. You moved it onto your mortgage. So you go to the steakhouse and eat a steak. Talk about buying a depreciating asset on debt. Put that on a credit card. And then when you can't pay the credit card, you roll it over to a home equity loan. Then when you can't pay the home equity loan, you put it in your refinance on your new 30-year mortgage. So now you've financed a freaking steak over 30 years. This is stupid on steroids. And this is what people do regularly. This is a problem, folks. It's a problem. Every time things get good, people get lazy. Financially fat, sassy, and undisciplined and not watching what you're doing. One of the key elements to becoming a millionaire is not borrow on your house. It's get your stinking house paid off. It's one of the key elements of becoming a millionaire. All the data points show us that. This isn't the stuff I made up. Don't go borrow on your home equity loan. And, oh, by the way, some of you that have been thinking about selling your house, I don't know what you're waiting on. I can't, you're supposed to buy low and sell high. It's high. It's high. If you were ever going to sell a house, right now is the time to sell it. Right now. This minute. Jump online at DaveRamsey.com, click on ELP for real estate, get you one of these high-octane, high-protein real estate agents, and get the sign in the yard. I can do it myself because I'll just get multiple offers. Yeah, there's a good way to lose an extra 3%, and 3% of $200,000 is known as $6,000 because you don't know what the flip you're doing, and you hire a professional to work on your teeth, you hire a professional to do your will, you hire a professional to do your taxes and work on your car, but you're going to sell your largest asset by yourself. That's stupid. Don't do that. A monkey can sell a house in this market, but that doesn't mean they did it right. Don't hire a monkey. Don't hire a real estate agent that's been in the business for 20 minutes because they're your relative. My Aunt Jessie just got her license. That's a good way to screw stuff up right there. Stay away from Aunt Jessie till she figures out how to, like these doctors, my practice. It's because you're practicing still. Yeah, don't get somebody still practicing. Get a professional that's getting it done, that knows what they're doing. Somebody sells 3 houses a year and sold 10 houses in their lifetime doesn't need to be selling your largest house, your largest asset. And this is the time to do it, baby. So put it on the market, max it out, get the most you can get for it. This is a really good time to sell a house. If you're thinking about moving, I've always wanted to, well, do it. What are you waiting on? Don't wait till things get bad. This is the time. White Hot on Fire. Get you a White Hot on Fire real estate ELP at DaveRamsey.com. Get somebody who knows what they're doing, that sells 50, 60, 80, 100 houses a year, knows what the flip they're doing, maximize the asset, and for God's sakes, don't go take out a home equity loan on this stupid thing. Hope that's helpful, because I don't like to be unclear. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. All right, I'm talking with Eileen in Kansas City, and she is a retired widow. You said again you're 74, is that right?
Correct.
And you have $650,000 invested, and you have a home that's worth about $275,000, and the $650,000 is currently paying you $1,700 per month.
After taxes.
Okay. Now, let's do some basic. Let's just stop.
And my social is about $23.25 a month.
Okay.
So my Social Security. So okay. I'm getting about $48,300, and that's plenty to live on. But I don't have the cash for the big items that I can see coming up, such as the house will need to be painted. I'm thinking around $8,000. I have about 10 windows that are original to the house that need to be replaced. I'd like to travel. And my car is a 2002.
And the $650,000, you said some of it is in an annuity?
It is. Half of it is in an annuity, and half of it is in an IRA managed funds with Fidelity. Everything's with Fidelity.
Okay. Do you have an advisor?
I do.
Okay. And why has your advisor not done, well, let's kind of walk through this for a second, okay? If this money were invested the way I would have it invested if I were in your shoes, I don't do investing for other people, okay? I just teach. But were it invested in a series of good growth stock mutual funds, I'm 57. Mine's invested 1/4 each in growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. At 74, if you wanted to be a little more conservative, you could substitute the aggressive growth for a balance. But either way, you should be earning north of 10% on that money. 10% of $650,000 is $65,000 a year. You're currently pulling $18,000. You're getting hosed.
Correct. Wow.
Okay. And if you had
what do I do?
Yeah, if you had $5,000 a month coming in instead of $1,700, a lot of the things you just asked me about would be solved just out of your monthly budget. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So if you're $650,
well, the way they've got it set up, the money should last me until I'm in my 90s before I run out of money.
That sucks too. Okay, and here's why: if $650,000 is making 10%. That's $65,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did we touch the $650,000? No. You should be getting $65,000 off of this, and the money lasts forever. You follow me?
Well, I'm not making 10%.
I know. I can tell. And they got this. I'm thinking this annuity must be sitting in a stupid fixed annuity, and you're probably making CD rates on half of your investment portfolio, which is ludicrous. I mean,
it's going to be, this October will be, I believe, 5 years, and I can take that money out without any penalties.
That's exactly right, and you're going to. And you're probably going to leave this investment advisor. You need to get somebody that teaches you and shows you what to do. You're smart enough to make these decisions by yourself with some guidance, and that's what an advisor does. They don't do it for you. They don't tell you what to do. They make suggestions and teach you, and you decide what to do. Now, if I were in your shoes, I would start shopping and learning about how I can invest this money so that I have a better monthly income that does not destroy the goose that's laying the golden eggs. The goose is the $650,000. We don't want to touch that, but I want the income that it's producing to be a lot larger without ever touching that, and without it absolutely being destroyed by the time you're 90. That's just crazy land.
Okay.
So here's what I want you to do.
I just don't know where to find an advisor that's going to help me, that I can trust.
Number one, you're going to trust them only to do one thing, and that's teach you. So the person I trust with your money is you. I don't want you to hire a babysitter, a full-time nanny for your money. I want you to hire somebody to teach you, and then together, based on their guidance and you understanding what you're going to do, not because Dave Ramsey said or not because an advisor said, but you're going to make the decision because this money was given to you to manage by God, and you're going to make that decision. So the way we put together, we have a network of investment advisors that we recommend. They do not work for me, but I endorse them, and the way we choose them is that they, number one, have to have that heart of a teacher because I want you to learn. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because you already know pretty good what you got. I can tell.
Well, I know what I have. My husband, who passed away about 6.5 years ago, was the one that took care of our investments.
Yeah, and he
did invest the money himself and and manage it. I don't know enough about the stock market. I mean, I know you have to diversify. I understand all that. But right now, I'm paying for advisory fees.
Okay, I don't mind paying for advisory. Yeah, I don't mind paying for advisory fees. But here's what I think happened. Okay, I think when he passed away, you guys just kept doing whatever was being done before, and you never questioned. It's kind of been on autopilot. And your call to me because you can't even paint your house and you're a millionaire. You can't even go on a trip. You can't even go on a trip and you're a millionaire. And so your call to me is autopilot ain't working. It's time to take the wheel again. You've seen all these autopilot cars are crashing, hadn't you? Yeah, we need to drive our own car. That's what we need to do. And I'm not shaming you. I think you're a very bright lady. So here's what you need to do. Go to DaveRamsey.com, click on Smart Vestor. You'll put in a little bit of information. It'll drop down a list of the Smart Vestor pros in your area. And Eileen, let me just tell you, you have a good BS detector. And if you sit down any time with anyone, including if Dave Ramsey endorses them, and you feel like you need to take a shower after you meet with them, then you need a different person. Don't be slimed, okay? Sit down with them and get a good feeling, a sense of trust, but not blind trust. Do they have the heart of a teacher? Do you leave the meeting understanding things that you didn't understand before the meeting? That's called I learned, which means you were in the presence of a teacher. If you don't learn something every time you meet with your investment advisor, something's wrong. You should learn something that you didn't know before. Their job is to teach you to make your own decisions. That's their job. They're an advisor. That's what that means. They give advice. And so click on SmartVestor, and it'll drop down a list of them. Meet with more than one if you want. Take your time. There's nothing on fire here. But, darling, you are not broke. And you shouldn't be living like you're broke. I'm not trying to get you to be a spendthrift and blow all your money, but you need to be enjoying your life a little bit. You guys worked really, really hard all your lives, you and your husband, to get to this point, and he had you set up to be taken care of, and they're starving you to death per month right here. You're getting hosed. So go get some other advice and learn. And I'm going to move some of this money around if I'm you. And I'm going to invest it a little differently so that it's giving me a better rate of return so I can live off of the returns without destroying the principal. Now, what I gave you was an example. I'm not saying you get 10% off of this. But my point was to do some easy math here on the radio and give you an example of what you could do and why you're way off receiving only $18,000 a year of income off of $650,000. Wow. Ouch. Guys, I want to take a second. That call a while ago, guy brought up something not about us, but just in general that I haven't touched on in a while around here, and I think it's time I touched on it again. I'm not seeing as much of it as I saw maybe 2 years ago. But there's a problem. Well, let me back up, okay? All the data tells us that your ability to become successful, whether it's in wealth building or parenting or in your marriage or in your career, your ability to be successful ends up being heavily influenced by who you hang around with. We all know that we become who we hang around with. Like, I was in New York City a while back, and about 3 or 4 months ago doing a TV show up there, and I noticed that those people all have accents. You become who you hang around with. I mean, and if those Yankees move south, pretty soon we'll teach them how to talk, right? I mean, you become who you hang around with, don't you? If the kid down the street's misbehaving, little Johnny's a weed head, you don't let your kid run around with little Johnny because you know your kid will be a weed head, right? And guess what? The same is true with you. You use the same good words and bad words that your friends use. You have a tendency to read the same books, see the same movies, live in similar properties with similar color on the walls. You tend to wear the same clothing that your friends wear. You tend to have the same beard treatment that your friends have if you do beard treatment. I got a bunch of hipsters working here, and they got all the beard treatment going on, so I make fun of them all the time because I'm old. I don't need a beard treatment. I just keep mine cut with some Sam's cutters. But you become who you hang around with, don't you? Now, you got to be careful with that because what happens is it affects your belief system as well. And so if you start hanging around with all the time people that believe that you can't get ahead. You ever hear people say things like, oh, you can't get ahead in America today. The little man can't make it in America today. You ever hear people say that? Of course, they always whine when they're saying it. I grew up with some people that acted like that. Oh, the little man can't get ahead. Well, the working man, the little man can't get ahead. I hope the president will fix everything for the little man, because the little man, and they always, it's like Eeyore is their spirit animal. They're waiting on some exterior force to fix their life. They watch the Lone Ranger and Batman too many times, and they think that the cavalry's actually coming. It's not. It's not coming. There's not an outside force that's going to fix your life. And, oh, by the way, there's not an outside force that's holding you back. 98% of the things that hold you back are between your freaking ears. It's your own decision that holds you back. It's our insecurities that we all have. It's our fears that we all have. It's our lack of work ethic that we all have. It's our lack of perseverance that we all have. And this is what holds us back. You know, I was told when I got in radio that a Southern accent, you couldn't make it in talk radio. We're the third largest talk radio show in America. I was told in talk radio you couldn't make it if you weren't owned by one of the large corporate companies that owns all the radio stations. We're the third largest talk radio show in North America, and we own it. I was told that if you were going to make it in talk radio, you had to be in Los Angeles or New York to syndicate the show out of. I still live in Nashville. I like visiting LA and New York periodically, but the chance of me living in either one of those places is zero. Shoot me and get it over with. Seriously. I love you people that live there. I'm glad you like it. I'm not living there. Period. So that's it. And guess what? We're the third largest show in talk radio. I was told a self-published book can't make it, and I've sold millions and millions and millions of copies of self-published books. I was told ... There's always something. There's always somebody telling you can't make it because of your background, because of your history, because of your family, because of the color of your skin, because you're a woman, because you're a man, because you're from the South, because you're from the North, because you're an immigrant, because you're not an immigrant. You can't make it. There's always somebody that's got some excuse for you to not make it. Well, you know, you don't understand. You got white privilege. Well, tell that to the two Ramsey personalities that are highly successful that are black. That would be Anthony O'Neill and Chris Hogan. Did anybody notice? No. Nobody gives a rip what your skin color is. There's a few idiots out there that are still prejudiced morons. But most people just care if you care and if you care about them and if you actually are competent at your job. That's what most people care about. And that's not white privilege. Ask Chris or ask Anthony. Oh, you can't make it if you're a woman. Oh, ask Rachel Cruz and Christy Wright, the other 2/3. Did you notice that there's 6 Ramsey personalities, including me, and only 2 white men in the bunch? That would be me and Chris Brown. You know? The rest of them are minorities just struggling along. They don't have any privilege. They just are highly successful, all. That's all. That's all. They're just, why? Because they're highly competent, they care, and they work with extreme diligence. And you can do that on the stage, off the stage, in the spotlight, not in the spotlight. And again, are there some idiots that won't let a lady speak somewhere? Yeah, there are. That's fine. That's fine. Are there some people that discriminate against me, won't let me speak in their church because I'm white? Yep. Now, you can count on it. That's happened before. I had one wouldn't let me speak because I wouldn't wear a tie because I don't own one. There you go. I'm tie. I have a tie inferiority complex now because I don't own a tie. Problem was I don't care. Because it's not relevant. You become who you hang around with. And if people tell you, oh, there's structural flaws with the economy. Oh, you have the deck stacked against you, so you can't make it. And these are people of influence in your life, and you begin to believe that politically correct garbage, then you will act on that belief, and you will therefore not be successful. So don't believe that. And if you're hanging around with too many people that talk and think that way, you're going to become one of them, and it's going to hamper your success. It's always interesting to me that one of these people who's not supposed to be able to make it, who believes in the political correct garbage, becomes successful. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to mentally process that. And so, because it's so inconsistent with their belief system. They weren't supposed to be able to make it, and yet they did make it. And so it screws up their brains. Let me just tell you, you got to be careful what you're feeding your brain on that stuff, because you become who you hang around with. And if you say, well, there's structural flaws with the economy and, you know, the stock market, the rate of return on the stock market, and you can't get a house in today's world, and, you know, you just, the chances to advance, and, you know, if you're 57 and you get laid off, you're just screwed because nobody hires anybody in their 50s. You know how much we age discriminate around here? 0. We hire people based on whether we think they can do the job. And part of whether we think they can do the job is, do they have Eeyore as their spirit animal? And so you come in here with your lip all stuck out, whining about your lot in life, I can pretty much freaking guarantee you we're not going to hire you. See, you just affected your future with your belief system. See how that works? It's very real. It's very, very dangerous. So when people start throwing sexism, racism, privilege, and those kinds of things around, be very careful who you're hanging around with, because it'll affect your ability to win if you believe that crap. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. Chris is with us, Cleveland, Ohio. Hi, Chris. What's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I'll try to be as brief as possible. My question is, my wife and I, over the last 2.5 years, have really focused in on the steps and have been in a situation where now we financially were able to pay off the house last fall. We have no credit card debt. And it seems to me at this point where our income levels are, she had recently gotten promoted about 2 years ago, that now we're getting just absolutely at the end of the year crushed and having to write big checks for taxes. And I guess my question is, is potentially looking into an LLC with some rental properties even something that should be on the table to even look at?
Well, an LLC doesn't change the taxes at all. You can own the rental property in your personal name, or you can own it in an LLC.
Protection-wise.
Yeah, tax-wise, it doesn't change the taxes one bit. Protection-wise, it's good to put rental property in there from a risk management standpoint. Somebody falls and breaks their face on that property, then they can sue only the owner of that property, which happens to not be you, happens to be an LLC. So they don't come take your personal vehicle. So from a risk management standpoint, I no longer own anything. I'm completely poor.
Gotcha.
A company that I own owns everything. So I've got this stack of LLCs that's ridiculous. My cars are even owned by LLCs now. So, but that's just because I'm at a point that I'm a target for lawsuits because it's like, oh, Dave Ramsey bumped into my car. Woohoo! So it's like
easier than winning the lottery. Yeah! I'll tell you that much.
Who needed a job? So anyway, but you're not going to quite be that way with one rental property. Of course, we're going to tell you to pay cash for the rental property or not buy it, and don't do things that don't make economic sense only for tax reasons.
Okay.
And if you get tired of paying taxes and mad about paying taxes like I have and like you are, you can go that way. And I have found myself tempted to enter into things that really don't make any sense except the fact that they are a huge tax write-off. And so I would rather just give it to charity and then you can write it off. Than I would go lose it and do something bogus that gets me in a bind later in order to get a write-off. So as long as you're paying cash for the rental, throw it in an LLC for risk management. Doesn't change the taxes, same depreciation schedule either way. It's all passed through on an LLC. It still lands on your personal return. Doesn't change a stinking thing as far as that goes. But yeah, it's okay to start talking about doing that. And it is one of the benefits of owning some real estate.
And I'd talk with a tax pro. If you don't have one already, you can jump on to RamseySolutions.com. But working with one of those ELPs, they can look at your whole situation and go, oh, here's a spot you missed. Here's a spot we can save you on taxes. Here's how to lower your taxable income. So that could help if you're not already working with a pro.
Yeah, and this idea that the rich don't pay taxes is 98% hogwash. I pay so much in taxes, I can't breathe. I pay more in taxes in a year than I made in the first 10 years of my working life.
Wow.
So the idea that rich don't pay taxes, absolutely, and I'm really good at this stuff. So it's just asinine that well, Warren Buffett's secretary pays at a higher rate than he does. Yeah, he lives off capital gains, which is a 15% rate, but it's 15% of $1 billion. And the only thing he has are investments. He has no earned income, only investments. So at a higher rate, yes, but his secretary doesn't have $1 billion that she's living off of. And so she's paying ordinary income. So that's just a bogus argument too. Well, that's not fair. Yeah, it's absolutely fair. It's the tax code. Sorry, boys and girls.
It's the law. Ethan joins us up next in Madison, Wisconsin. Ethan, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks. How's it going?
Doing great. How are you? What's going on?
Good. So I graduated in May of 2021 last year, and over that course of time, I paid off $20,000 in student loans. I just took the first job I could get out of school and hustled and grinded and did that. And then I come to find out the student loan forgiveness thing is happening. And I found that I'm eligible to apply to get my money back, so to speak. I'd have to go back into debt with my loan provider and then have my debt forgiven that way. How should I go about that? Should I do that, go back into debt in order to be forgiven? Is that wise?
Okay. All right. I got to jump in, George.
Sure.
Quick. Because I read entirely too much news every day. There are now multiple lawsuits that have been filed by multiple states against President Biden's executive action. It's not me making this up. This is happening. The reason is because you have a lot of privately held student loans. And so when he made that executive action to say we're going to pay off, we're going to forgive 10,000, it's affecting. And again, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying it's real money that's hurting private companies that hold loans and people sign up for, and then the states are motivated to protect those companies because those companies are tax-paying companies in their states. So I don't know if you're paying attention to the news, Ethan, but that has happened. And so you have two things going on. So the lawsuits have been filed. So the $10,000 forgiveness is not happening until those lawsuits are all dealt with, number one. Number two, they're not actively moving towards those refunds right now anyway. So I just want to put that out there, George, because
people feel like this is a done deal. I'm going to go ahead and move forward with this.
And
but
it's the basis of his question. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and for those listening that aren't clear on how this is working, because Ethan's gone, well, they're going to put me back into debt, but it's forgiveness. So what we've been seeing is the student loan companies are saying, all right, we're going to drop 10 grand back into your bank account, but we are also reinstating your debt balance to $10,000. And now the hope is down the line at some point, the government comes and wipes that $10,000 balance.
It makes my head hurt. Only the government can come up with something that stupid.
It's pretty convoluted. But that's how it's working, right? Ethan, am I right on that?
Yeah.
That's what you described.
Sounds right to me.
So no, don't do it.
So here's what some people are doing. I'm not going to advocate for or against this, but what they're doing is saying, hey, I'm going to take that $10,000 in the bank and make sure not to spend it, which that takes a level of discipline alone for people who had already gone into debt thinking that this was a good idea. And then they're saying, I'm going to hang on to the $10,000 in case they don't forgive it, and I'll still have the money to pay it off, Ken.
Oh, sure. That sounds wonderful.
So, Ethan, that's kind of what you're describing as if you go through with this, that's what the hope is that you hang on to the $10,000, and once it's forgiven, you go, all right, cool, this money is free and clear now.
Gotcha.
So there's risk involved, is what we're saying. And
unnecessary risk, so don't do it. Pay your student loans off. The government is not going to do it for you.
And you're completely debt-free now?
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh,
so I'm debt-free now.
Oh, great.
So,
yeah,
but he's saying I can get the refund.
I see.
Forgiveness. Yeah.
Yeah. What baby step are you on now?
I was in 4, 5, and 6, but I just replaced the transmission in my car, so I'm back on 3.
Restocking that emergency fund. Good man.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, you know what's clear to me is that the secret sauce to winning with money is Ethan, and not a third party, not a government, not a forgiveness program. And so I'm sticking with the Ethan program for now. And if you so choose to do it, I'm not mad at you. I'm happy for you for it to, propel your financial journey. But there's a lot of risk and a lot of unknowns right now.
Yeah. Certainly just wait. Wait until the dust settles in the form of all these lawsuits.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Anything you need to tell me about this video?
No. Well, this is a video that went viral, and this is a warning video. And I shared this on the Ken Coleman Show earlier today, and this could be relevant for a lot of our listeners and viewers. So let's play it, then we'll comment on it.
A day in my life getting laid off at Google. So I woke up to this really ominous text from my boss, and I honestly had no idea what it was going to be about. So I called her the minute I woke up and saw this, and she told me to check the news and my email. So I rushed downstairs to find out that I had lost access to basically everything. I couldn't log into my email or even check my calendar. I called my boss back, and we just sobbed over the phone because she was also finding out about my layoff for the first time today too. I started getting calls from a bunch of my coworkers and started finding out who else was let go on my team and some neighbors neighboring teams as well. But I think the worst part is that it seems like no one was consulted on this decision and everyone was just finding out about the layoffs at the same time. It just felt like a really bad game of Russian roulette, and there was no consistency around who was let go. It was also not performance-based, so it just felt really random.
Okay, so There you go. Now, in the news, it came out on Friday of last week, George. Google laid off about 12,000 employees, which is about 6% of their global workforce. This is across product areas, functions, different product areas, functions, levels, and regions. According to CEO Sundar Pichai, if you say it that way, I think it is. I think I'm hooked on phonics. That this is a result of Google hiring too quickly and couldn't keep all its staff on the current economic reality. But here's why I showed that video on the Ken Coleman Show and why we show it here, George. Anytime that you hear talk of recession, and we're seeing larger companies laying off people, more expected to be announced this week. A lot of tech companies laying people off. And this is happening more and more. This is a young lady who finds out about the layoffs when she sees the news and she wakes up. She calls her direct leader who says, well, let's get online and figure this out together. I don't know if you've been laid off or not. Yikes. She goes downstairs to get on her laptop and is subsequently locked out. She finds out, I've been locked out overnight. And so her direct leader did not even know that this young lady had been laid off. Now, how does that hit you?
Well, from what I read, I saw a piece that was saying, hey, folks didn't know. If they didn't check their email the night before, they showed up to work, and there was just a line of people checking their fobs, and that's how you figured out.
That's how you found out.
If you can get in the door, you're still employed.
Yeah.
That's a terrible way to go about this.
Now, folks, the reason we share this is if you are at a company, I don't care how large or small, and you don't have a sense that the leadership values you as an individual, not a unit of production, then you need to start paying attention. Because leaders like this, and this is Google, and they think they're too big for it to really have a negative impact on them. But I'm going to tell you something. They aren't too big to fall. And this has been a wave of just social media testimonies about them doing this. I've got a Business Insider article right here in my hands. And one engineer shares a story of being at Google for 20 years, an engineer for 20 years, and he was laid off via email. No face-to-face conversation. Here's a couple more. This is the worst. Another guy says that he went in at 4 a.m. This is Dan Russell, research scientist, said on LinkedIn, I found out when I went to work at 4 a.m. to finish up an important analysis, and my badge didn't work. The guy's going in at 4 a.m. to work, and his badge doesn't work. 17 and a half years at Google gone. Elizabeth Hart, a senior marketing manager on Google's global ads team, said she woke up early Friday morning and saw a notification that her corporate access had expired, along with an email with the New York Times link to the article about Google laying people off.
Oh, man.
So Google is big enough, savvy enough to know that they're going to have to lay people off. There's no excuse for not having a real person sit down with them, eyeball to eyeball, knee to knee, and explain what's going on and have some sense of compassion. But let me tell you what it is, George. It's about a checklist. We got to lay off 12% of our 12,000 people, 6% of our workforce. We don't have time to do it this way. This is how we're going to do it. And you know what? We're Google. We'll just get another batch of young people coming out of college. And I'm going to tell you something. This is eventually going to catch up to companies.
Well, you lose the guy who had 20 years experience, and you hire the guy who's just jumping into this thing.
Well, you make a very good point. Not only do you lose him, you treat him so harshly that he leaves with a bunch of institutional knowledge that you don't even know what he knows and what he's taken with him. It's bad business. Yeah. Forget bad human behavior. It's bad business behavior. So all that to say...
Well, in these publicly traded companies, Ken, a lot of them are just beholden to the shareholders.
It's 100%.
All about the stock price.
100%.
Whatever they got to do to make the shareholders happy, and therefore people become a unit of production, which is sad.
So you want to know why there's an anti-work movement?
Why is that?
This kind of nonsense. You treat people like they aren't humans. You treat them like they are just a number on your spreadsheet. They start to believe that. You know why quiet quitting is a phenomenon? Because of crap like this. Leaders not valuing people. And when you would just keep treating people like units of production, you don't care for them, you don't treat them like they've got a heart, like they've got emotions, then you're going to have a revolt. And this just continues to happen. So we're going to shine the light on it here at Ramsey Solutions because we care about people here. We care about our team. We care about you. And you can work in a place that values you. You better get to one of those places because I'm telling you, if you're not in a place that values people, even if they have to lay you off, okay, in a place where they care about you, they'll treat you well.
That's true. And thankfully, Ramsey has never had to lay anyone off in the history of this place, which is pretty amazing. And it speaks to how much they value people.
So just bad behavior.
So Ken, a lot of people I see on their LinkedIn, it says, hashtag open to work. What do people do in a case where they were just laid off or they could potentially be laid off any minute? What would you suggest they do on the career side?
Okay, well, first thing is this is a really rough rejection. So you need to grieve this. You need to understand that while it may not be personal, it feels personal. So let's go get it out of our system. Friends, family members, if you got to cry some, fine. The point is let's own it, that it sucks, that it hurts. And then after we've gotten that out of our system, that it feels that way, we got to then step back into reality that it does not hurt your future. A lot of people have been laid off. People get laid off all the time. And there are still a lot of opportunities. And so you get back up on the horse, and the way you do that is I'm going to make connections. I hope that you have connections laid out way in advance. When you get on an airplane and the flight attendants come in and they tell you, in case of a water landing, here are your exits, you need to do the same thing if you work for a large company. If you work for a company that may be struggling financially, you don't know what could happen. So what would an exit strategy look like if a storm came? I can see you in your new home. I bet you have a storm shelter. And so you got your flashlight, cool. You got your batteries, you got your water.
I'm going to John Deloney's house if something goes down.
That's not a good idea because he's just going to put you with the chickens.
That's true.
But the idea is, okay, who are people that I know in my industry that are really well connected? What is a part-time or an Uber-type job that I could take on, or two part-time jobs?
You might have to swallow your pride and go, what do I need to do right now to bring in income?
Well, this gets back to, George, you and what Dave and Rachel teach about the budget. If I know my four walls budget, then what are some jobs that I know that I could probably go get pretty quickly that take care of my four walls? That's what I mean by having an exit strategy. That's temporary until maybe I can then get back into the industry that I want to be in. That's the idea. It doesn't have to be a crisis. We want it to be a nuisance. Big difference.
I like that.
And so the emergency fund.
Yeah, being debt-free and having money in the bank, it changes a layoff drastically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because now it's annoying and frustrating, but it's not devastating. So, man, really pulling for all those folks that are getting laid off around the nation, and it's a wild time. We are hoping the best for you, that you can jump into a new career, and Ken's advice is spot on. This is not the end. This does not define you. It will refine you if you let it.
Thank you for joining us, America. Cody is with us in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, Cody. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So this is kind of a long story, so I'll try to keep it really short. Back in February, I started school, and I tried to go with as little debt as I could. I hadn't started listening to your show. So my grandma offered to take over my finances for me, so I turned over my debit card to her. That way, all of my extra cash, she said she would apply towards my school tuition.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
And why did you need your grandmother to handle your finances?
She offered, and it sounded like a good deal.
Well, she offered to take over mine. I wouldn't let her. Why is it a good deal for somebody else to handle your money?
I had hoped that she would be able to get me on a better financial track.
Okay. At 25, that'd be your job.
I know it is.
Okay. All right. So what happened?
Well, my sister checked her credit and found that my grandma had opened 4 credit cards in her name. My grandpa committed suicide, and we found out that leading up to the day he took his life, my grandma had drained about $15,000, his last $15,000 out of his bank account. And so I started looking into my bills, and she hadn't paid any of my bills for several months. And I guess I just don't know what to do right now.
Okay. And so when did your grandpa commit suicide?
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my Lord, son, I'm sorry. What a horrible thing. So how old is your grandmother?
70.
Okay. All right. Well, what you need to do as soon as you get off the phone is you need to take back control of all your finances.
Okay.
Before the next hour rings 12. You have 30 minutes. Get it done. Okay? If you have to shut down the checking account, if you have to shut down the credit cards, and if you have to freeze your credit, that's fine. But you need to get control of your finances because your grandmother, for whatever reason, is misbehaving. We've established that, correct?
Yes.
With your money, with your grandpa's money, and with your sister's ID. And for all we know, she's opened up credit cards in your name as well, correct? We don't know.
Yes. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, you need to check your credit and see if she's done that to you as well. But you need to shut down. So did you give her your checking account? Is that what you gave her to take over? And how does she handle your money?
I gave her my checking account, my debit card.
Okay. You just go down to the...
I don't have credit cards.
Yeah, just go down to the bank and close your checking account. Just close it. And whatever money's in there, use it to be moved over to a different account and have that bank, tell that bank what's going on, that this lady is, she's misbehaving, she's mentally ill, she's a thief. We don't know what it is, but we need to get all control taken away from her. Is that all she had, was your debit card and your checking account?
That's all I have. So yeah.
That's all she had of your money or your stuff. So you get paid. Is it direct deposit into your account?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you need to change that as well, right, to the new account number today, sir. Okay. Today.
Yes.
Are you going to do it today?
I am going to.
Okay, good. And then you just call her up and say, Granny, I got enrolled in a financial class, and so I'm going to take over my finances. Thank you for your help. I'll take it from here. And then you need to call and make sure your bills are being paid. Call every one of your bills. How much debt have you got?
My bills totaled, I added it up a minute ago. It's right around $2,500.
How many different creditors do you owe?
That's just regular bills.
That's like utility bills and that kind of stuff?
Yes, sir.
So you don't have any debt? You don't have any debt?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Then you just need to call your utilities and make sure, were they on auto draft on your account?
Yes.
Okay. Then you're going to have to give them your new account numbers and get all that switched over today so that you take over the handling of your money. And you can just let grandmother know that, with grandpa's passing, I didn't want you to have to fool with this, honey, so I'm going to take it over. I'm enrolled in a financial class, and I'm going to get control as a 25-year-old man of my life. And I'm going to take it.
She's actually in jail.
I'm sorry?
She's actually in jail right now.
She's in jail. Why is she in jail?
My sister pressed charges for the credit cards in her name yesterday.
Wow. Okay. Well, you can let her know that you took the bank account over due to all this weirdness in the family then. Very interesting. Wow. So people in the family are not real happy with grandmother right now, I take it.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Very sad. Sad to be 70 years old in that. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to pull a copy of your credit bureau report, and you can do that for free once a year with each of the 3 credit bureaus and see if there's anything showing up on your credit bureau report regarding identity theft. See if she's opened cards in your name as well. Okay? And let me help you too. Your sister may or may not have been really mad, and she may or may not have meant for your grandmother to be picked up. But here's the thing. The only way, if someone opens an account in your name, The only way to get that account cleared, other than pay it yourself, which would be pretty stupid to pay an account that you didn't open when someone stole your identity, the only way to keep from doing that is you have to file a police report. And when you're filling out the police report, they always ask you if you know who stole your identity. And if you don't tell them, that would be breaking the law. And so your sister followed the law properly when the police report was being filled out and said, yes, I know who the identity thief is. It's my grandmother. And I'm surprised, actually, that they went and picked her up. But they did. And, so because it is a federal law. It is a federal offense now to steal an identity. And so she's in trouble. She's in real trouble. But your sister could maybe accidentally activated all of this because she just had to do a police report to get the identity theft removed from her name, right? But she may have been just mad and gotten her arrested. I don't know. Either way is fine with me. But because the woman's definitely a thief. But oh my goodness, what a sad thing, though. What a horrible thing you guys are going through. Now, Cody, how much do you make? What kind of money do you make?
$40,000 a year.
Okay. All right. Are you really ready to take this over and learn how to handle money? If you are, I'll show you how. I'll put you in our class.
I am, sir.
Okay. But you have to square your shoulders back now and not look for anybody else to babysit you. You're too old for a babysitter. So time for you to man up here, okay? You hold on. I'll have Kelly pick up, and we'll get you signed up for Financial Peace University. You can go through the class as our guest. And we'll take good care of you and show you how to handle money, and then you go handle your money. Thanks for calling in, dude.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Evan is with us in Bowling Green. Hi, Evan. How are you?
I'm better than I deserve, Dave. How are you?
Just the same. How can I help?
Hey, I just called in. My wife and I actually are, I just needed some perspective. And we've gone through the financial peace class, and it just seems that we waver from it. We both have, I make $28,000. She makes about $19,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And we both have I say we both because we're married. We have a $70,000 debt. Mm-hmm. And that's including her bachelor's degree from Daymar College, mm-hmm. and then $11,500 in car debt, Dr. Bill $6,000 give or take, mm-hmm. and then a mower $1,700, and the Daymar is the biggest one. I think it's around $55,000. So together we make $47,000, and I just kind of wanted to hear your logic on it.
My logic on what?
On what we should do and how do we get out of it. I feel like that we just keep looking at this mountain and it just never gets any smaller.
It's because you don't climb it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just sit there and look at it, it ain't going to get smaller, is it?
No, sir.
You got to put one foot up there and start, grab a hold and let's go. And the only reason you would start climbing a mountain, though, the only reason you would start working a plan is if you thought it was going to work. There's something about when you went through Financial Peace University, the switch didn't flip in your head. Somehow you thought, this doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Or you'd have gone and done it.
I think the only thing that, I agree with you, and that's the hard part about it is the application on an everyday basis. And it's okay, so we have to keep on track on where we're going. And then the doctor bill came from where she was outside mowing the yard without shoes, and we had to go to the ER. She fell in a drainage ditch and cut her foot up pretty bad and had to have stitches. And it's those things, and especially with our income, we can't. With paying, we're trying to do the snowball thing, pay the smallest things first, and then add up. But it just seems with that, and with certain occurrences throughout life, especially the drainage ditch, was just something that was just unexpected, and it's taken us back, and it is putting us back into a spot where we can't pay extra, mm-hmm. or we're just paying the minimums now. And mm-hmm. finance a car, bought another car.
So if you bought a $1,700 lawnmower, how did she fall in a ditch pushing a lawnmower?
Right. Well, the lawnmower situation was another thing. We could either let the grass grow, or we could have bought we could have bought a cheaper lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That's a dumb moment.
But I mean, if you have a $1,700 lawnmower, how does she fall in the ditch?
Well,
I'm just curious.
She was a push mowing out front, and the push mower was what
there
she
was
was
a part of it that you couldn't ride.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
I got it. Okay. I'm just curious. I'm just thinking.
Oh, yeah. Well,
okay.
Throw your wrench, I guess.
All right. So, here's the thing. If you have a big enough why, if you say, let's just say something bizarre, okay, something weird, okay, that's not going to happen, but just to show you an example, okay, as a metaphor.
Okay.
If I said that you were going to die in 14 months if you did not pay off $25,000 in debt in the next 14 months, you'd go nuts.
Yes, sir.
You'd work like a crazy man, and you'd sell stuff, and you wouldn't have problems staying on the budget. You would get there, because if you don't, you're going to die. That's extreme, and that's obviously weird. But my point is, you would have a really big reason that would cause everything to revolve around that reason. And you don't have a big enough why. You're just living life. And, what I would say is this. I want you to get scared of being normal. And you're not scared of being normal yet. Enough to cut this crap out. I mean, cut your life down to nothing. Take 6 jobs, sell so much stuff that the kids think they're next. I mean, the lawnmower's gone. You're pushing the whole thing. Probably the car's gone. I don't know. Everything's gone. We're not going on vacation. Christmas is going to be a craft. It's time to shock the system here. Right. Detox. You got to detox. And just clean out everything that's going on here and stop putting anything into the system that's not pure. I mean, I don't want to hear about fun. I don't want to hear about anything except sacrifice, because you're going to die if you don't do this. Now, again, I'm being melodramatic and crazy, but the point is that if that happened, you don't care what other people think. You don't care about Friday. You don't care about discomfort temporarily. You will live like no one else, so that later you can live and give like no one else. That's the why statement. Will I pay the price to win so I never have to pay a price again? Or am I going to pay the price of mediocrity? And that's what it is. You all got to talk about it, and you got to go, we've been doing this stuff, ish. And ish, Dave Ish, Financial Peace University ish, gets you ish results. And that's what you've been doing. Results ish. And I'm not fussing at you. You're just asking me how to do it. And, when I was a kid, no one jogged. No one was running in the neighborhood I grew up in unless somebody was chasing them. Okay? Nobody went for a run. There weren't running shoes. I remember when Converse came out with the basketball shoes that were actually cool and would stop quickly on the gym floor. It was the first ones I'd ever seen. Now everybody wears those throwback Converse, and that's what they look like. Those you millennials wear, you hipsters wear the ones that I used to have when I was a kid. But running shoes, running shorts, sweats that matched. We had the gray sweatpants that looked like a balloon that you saw in the first version of Rocky, okay? That was it. And one day, a guy went running up our street. A grown man was running on our street in those gray sweatpants and funky-looking little tennis shoes. And the kids, we were all just amazed. We're like, a grown man just ran up the street. We went and told our parents. The next day, everybody gathered on the front porch to watch this grown man run up the street. And it became the great mystery of the neighborhood that this grown man was out running. And finally, someone got up the courage to run along beside him and ask him why. And he said, well, I had a little heart attack, and the doctor said if I didn't lose 60 pounds, I was going to die. And so you know what he did? He went for a run. He had a big enough why, and he didn't care that he was the weirdo of the neighborhood, because he was. I mean, this is a bunch of rednecks standing around on our front porch watching this weird guy run up the street. We had never seen anybody do anything like this, but he didn't care what we thought. He wanted to live. He had a big enough why. He didn't care what other people thought. He didn't care about his temporary discomfort. He wanted to live, so he paid a price of ridicule by others looking on. He paid a price of discomfort to have a greater life. And that's your why. You got to have a why like that. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Megan is with us. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for taking my call. I greatly appreciate it. It's an absolute honor to speak to both of you today.
You too. What's up?
So I have a quick question. It's, I have a brother-in-law who is being completely enabled by my mother-in-law and father-in-law. He is currently still living at home. He's almost 40 years old, and he has a drug addiction problem, as well as he's currently not working. And my major concern is that, my in-laws are getting older. They're almost 80. And we've recently purchased a house, and it has a complete separate in-law suite. Their eyes kind of got a little bit big when they saw the new house that we purchased for ourselves. And they made mention like, oh, isn't this just a lovely place for you guys to potentially rent out later down the line? Kind of hinting at the fact that potentially the brother could potentially move in with us. Mm-hmm. How do I politely explain to them I have zero desire of him moving into our house?
You don't. Your husband does. It's his mother, not yours.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Your husband have a backbone, or does he need to run down to Walmart and pick one up?
I think I need to buy him one for Christmas.
Okay, I'll three at Walmart. Yeah.
I'll three.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently,
now, listen. If you do it, you're going to be the Wicked Witch of the West until they die.
Okay.
Because one thing about enablers, they don't think they're enablers. They think they're nice. And if you don't participate in their enabling, by definition, you are not nice.
Mm-hmm. So
you see this with very, very clear eyes. Your husband.
Does your husband agree with you?
I'm not kidding. Does your husband needs to head this off at the pass? What's brother's name? First name?
Joe.
Good. Okay. So brother just catches, Meemaw and Papaw at the dinner table and says, "Hey, just to let you guys know, Joe's not moving in with us as long as I'm breathing." That's her husband's job.
Okay.
You
so
don't say a word. You sit there and
that?
kind of dab the corners of your eye like you're crying.
Okay.
You don't say a word.
What was the question, Megan? There's no way to what?
For me to politely bring this up.
No. Why do you keep going back to you? Do you
Why
not
do you
understand?
have to do it?
Because I have the backbone.
I know, but you can share yours with him. My wife does it all the time. She says, "Sick 'em."
That is true.
Sorry.
That is true. Well, in Stacy's case too, she's as sweet as she can be, but she makes it very clear what her position is on some things at times, and that means it's clear that I need to get on that page.
Yeah, you don't have a brother-in-law problem; you have a husband problem.
That's exactly right.
So do you pick those up at Walmart too, new ones, or do I do that?
That's a whole separate call.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to get with Dr. John Deloney, your marriage counselor, or whatever else. But I would just say, honey, if I talk to your mom about this is not going to go well. They're going to be angry with me, and I don't want that. It is your family. It's actually your job, and I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to give you a stiff cup of coffee, a stiff kick in the rump, and you're going to go talk to your mother and dad, and at some point, when it comes up gently, and be kind, and just say, you don't want to be as rough as I was a minute ago, but just, Mom and Dad, look, we've got this house, and you guys were all big-eyed about the moving, about us having an apartment to rent. We might rent it out someday, but we won't be renting it out to Joe.
Yeah.
And you need to know that ahead of time. And Joe, I go ahead and tell Joe, you're not moving in. I love you, but I hate what you've become. And I'm not going to participate in your drug addiction, your laziness, and your parasitical involvement with Mom and Dad. You're a parasite. You need to. I'll help you. I'll coach you. I'll love you, and help you get up on your feet and actually become a man and go be somebody, but you ain't living in my house, dude.
Okay.
And that's your husband's job. 100% of the time that you say one word or even agree using your eyes, you're going to get blamed for this. Don't let this land on you. It's not your fault.
Okay.
Make him do it.
Yeah.
He can do it because he does agree with you, but he comes from enablers, which are nice people, and they build a family script that anyone that goes against nice people is by definition mean people. And that's running around in your husband's head.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and you're not mean, and you're not crazy, and you're not, you are sweet, and you're being protective of your own home space, which you should be. This is called boundaries. And when you set up boundaries for people that don't have any, they generally don't like it. So you don't need to be the one doing it. Create your free Every Dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
We've got Jill in Reno, Nevada. What's going on, Jill?
Hi. I just found out that my husband's been opening credit cards.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
And he's racked up like $30,000 in credit card debt.
On what? Do you know?
Well, there's some online gambling.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There's some online prescription medication.
Yep.
And he knows I know. We've already had our come to Jesus moment. And to preface this, I have been complicit in this because I knew something was up, and I've never wanted to deal with finances. But I'm on it now, so there's that.
Ownership is usually step one, so I'm proud of you for that.
So
just don't own it all, because he's
no
out there too. Good on you. So how can we help you?
Yeah, I don't want to be codependent.
Yeah. How can we help?
He wanted to borrow from his retirement, and I said no, because I already cashed out mine for credit card debt before.
Before all of this, you got to protect yourself. I want you to call the 3 credit reporting bureaus, and I want you to put a freeze on your Social Security number, okay? So that nothing can be opened up in your name. That's not going to fully protect you because y'all are married, but that will at least stop it. If he cares about you and your marriage, he'll do the same thing. He'll freeze it.
Okay.
And that way they have to go through you for anybody to open up any more credit or to make any more charges.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And that way that you haven't slept because this thing is still spinning underneath you, and you have a man in your home that you don't trust that is digging a hole. He's digging a grave for your family. Right? Yeah. And this at least takes the shovel out of his hand for a second, so you can then begin to exhale and figure out what's your next step.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to call the credit. There's 3 reporting bureaus. We're going to call them. Just Google them. Experian. I forgot off the top of my head.
Equifax, Experian, TransUnion.
And TransUnion. And call and just put a freeze on it. Okay. So nobody's taking out any more credit. No one's racking up any more charges. Okay.
Okay.
And then no, we're not cashing out anything. We're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're going to sit down, and while you're on the phone with those credit agencies, I want you to and he's with you. We're going to pull credit reports instantly, and we're going to find out how bad the damage is. I guarantee you it's worse than you think it is.
Okay.
It's almost never in this kind of situation where you catch somebody is it all out on the table on conversation 1. Almost never.
Okay.
And then, listen, I'm walking you through, okay? The next one is you can't have any sort of conversation, any sort of come to Jesus, any sort of healing conversation until he gets his addictions under control. And that might mean rehab, that might mean AA, that might mean Gamblers Anonymous, that might mean he's got to go see a medical doctor because he's got himself hooked on pain pills. But any sort of trying to heal this thing and come up with a plan and he's still using is a fool's errand. You're wasting your time.
I know, because I'm a recovering addict.
There you go. You know.
Years.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. My concern is so we have $33,000 in credit card debt. $3,000 of that is in my name only. Okay. Hope I don't out myself here. I have a guaranteed income of $3,200. I can't work, but I have a guaranteed income of $3,200 a month.
Okay.
I get that every month. I was offered a buyout for that. I never took it. So I'm so grateful for that I'm guaranteed that. Mm-hmm. My problem is he's in ministry, and he signed a covenant with his job, and I'm afraid that when this all clears in his head and he realizes that he can't have this job, or they might ask him to step down.
They have to ask.
We're going to lose.
He has to step down as a matter of integrity. Yes. He's not in shape to lead people as a minister right now, period. Does that mean his life is over as a minister? No, but he's got a mess in his home that he has created, and he's got to get that cleaned up.
Okay.
And maybe he takes a 6-month leave and he sits down and says, I'm struggling with addiction. I've made some major mistakes, some major like ethical violations of my own home, and I need 6 months to go clean this. Maybe they'll do that for him or something like that. But yeah, this delusion, he's going to take down a whole church with him, and that's not fair to those people.
He's not the leader later.
Either way, he's got to come clean about this, because the longer it's like leading a double life in that sense.
And I feel, and I've kind of tried to discuss it with him. Mm-hmm. My question here's the question. We have a $17,000 camper, or we owe $17,000 on it. I don't want to sell it because I might have to live in it.
I don't think that's true.
Why might you have to live in it?
That's not true.
Because we won't be able to. We'll drown without him having a job.
Okay. Can I ask the nature of your disability? Are you?
Yeah.
So
I'm 100% disabled.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But can he go get a job at McDonald's and y'all get a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yeah, well, if we sold the house, there's enough equity in my home to pay off everything.
That's all. Yes. So let's don't go caustic, because when we go caustic and we start imagining us walking around in the aftermath of a nuclear strike, we make decisions that don't make a lot of sense. Sell the camper, take the $17,000. You guys got to start paying this stuff off.
Well, we just owe $17,000. I won't make any money on the camper.
I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, then you got to stop the bleeding. You shouldn't have a camper, a $17,000 camper that's a depreciating asset that you're making payments on a fixed income anyway. Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
Nothing's fair in this world.
There you go. Hey, let me say this, Jill, and I'm saying this because I love you, okay? Most people in your situation are trying to walk around, and if you've ever seen somebody in the aftermath after a tornado's come through a town, they'll be picking up like a medicine cabinet and try to start putting it back on the wall. But that wall's the only thing standing. Everything else in that, it's just how human nature. And you have to come to the grief-filled exhale moment where you drop your shoulders and you fall down on your knees and you internalize everything about your life is different now. Mm-hmm. And so there's not going to be a world but we hang on to the camper. Everything's different now. There's not a world where, but you still need to make this much money and we're going to keep this house. It sounds like everything's over. Everything's different now. It's not over, but it's just going to be different for a while. Not how you drew it up, not how you wanted it to be. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of Building a Non-Anxious Life and Own Your Past, Change Your Future, both roadmaps for people who have just found themselves completely in ash and trying to figure out what to do next. But y'all are going to have to sit down and have some real talk about getting clean, about coming clean with his workplace, and about what's the next logical right step.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.